the side of Forza, yeah, Flit's a beast. It's very hard to overlook him when
Yeah.
checking out this roster. Earlier today, I would say that Almazur actually came up big. He's usually one of the more quiet players for the Forza lineup, but he had some really nice rounds for himself. This is going to be not only, hopefully, though, a very strong game individually from the players in the server, but also tactically. These are some interesting
Yeah.
maps.
Well, actually, before we head into the maps, I just want to make a very bold statement because I do have a tendency to do that, which is that I think Flit, I just opened up HLTV's top 20 players of 2019. Number 20 is Ethan, number 19 is Broden. I think Flit's better than both of them. So that's my statement for you for the day. Maui just opened up his eyes as wide as he could, thinking, this man's nuts. Why am I casting with him? He's going to end my career. I'm in NA. You can't say that about Ethan. But yeah,
well, briefly, I think people in used to think that Ethan was kind of an eco fragger. Actually, that was kind of his reputation.
really,
So it's
okay.
nice. Yeah, it's nice that he's able to bust out of that. I think people that were following him as he was coming up a little bit more kind of saw that, but
Yeah.
I don't think you can say that anymore. And I don't think that you can say Flit is better than Ethan by any means. I think Flit could easily be a top 40 player in the world, easily. But I don't know. Top 20, you're really pushing.
Oh,
You're
no,
really
no.
pushing
I'm
it
not
there.
saying he's top 20. I just think Ethan isn't top 20 anymore either.
Oh, okay. All right.
See, that's
Yeah.
where I'm going with it. Brolin probably
Gotcha.
still is, in all fairness. Brolin's maybe a bit of a stretch, but I do think Flit is better than Ethan is at the very least. But with that being said, we'll have to see on the server whether or not he can actually translate through, get those ranks that he is very, very good at. And that's where, you know what, Maui, I'll let you take the narrative swinging. I'll let you take the bold statements away from me, and I'll let you get into the analysis of the map, Vito.
Yeah, so both teams picking some fairly tactical maps, with Forza going to Nuke, which has really been one of their home maps for a long time. We just saw them do very well against Copenhagen Flames on it, who were a bit lost. But nonetheless, Forza looked very confident and strong on it. On the other hand, OG go for Train, which is a little bit interesting to me because OG just beat Kova on that map. But their T side was pretty slow to get going, and the only reason I felt like they actually got over the finish line, despite an absolutely dominant first half on CT side, was off of the individual performance we saw from Issa, where I think on round, what was it, 25? Actually, yeah, I think it was round 25, where he got a really sick 3K spray down as he pushed down the lanes on the B-bomb side of Train. So that's just a weird one for me. Because Forza, I know that they have tactics. I know that they can play Train on top of that. They don't actually have the best win rate on it, but they actually have more maps played on it in the last few months than OG do. So they actually have some more officials experience on it. It's actually, to me, I think OG might have to come up with some anti-stratting if they want to take down Forza here, which I'm going to doubt that they brought anti-stratting to this Home Sweet Home week.
Maybe not anti-stratting specifically, but I'd imagine maybe they've watched some demos for OG. That is entirely possible because OG is one of those teams that I would imagine they have to play quite a bit in close qualifiers because OG is not quite at that point where they will be invited to tier 1 events directly, and Forza almost always gets invited to close qualifiers. So if you're facing off against them pretty regularly, I could see a world in which, you know what, you probably watch some of their demos. Not to mention, OG does bring some innovative things in as well. So why not? Why not? With that being said, though, I'm sorry, Maui. I was trying really hard not to sneeze, and I kind of zoned out slightly. Have you talked about the map Vito yet? Because I was sneezing right a few minutes ago. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's okay. I just said that.
Okay.
I think Forza's on their home map pick of Nuke, and that OG Train, kind of an interesting pick for them.
Okay. Well, listen. This is where I think it'll probably. I actually favor Forza for a 2-0 here. That's a difficult thing. We'll head into the night round in just a second, but until we do that, Forza, I believe their nuke is favored unless OG's done some good work on it. Now, I will say that Valde's always been good at nuke. Like nuke's been one of those maps where Valde comes out, gets so many kills so many times. Now, recently, that's not necessarily always been the case, but Historically, it sure as hell has been. On North, Valda was always very good on Nuke. Even on Heroic, Valda was very, very good on Nuke. So I think he could be the difference maker. And if both him and Alexi B's good reads and NBK as well come through to actually take them away, because Mantu might be shut down a little bit considering how the map is for Opus as we head into the knife round being finished. Forza do end up winning that one, so they'll be starting on the CT side. I think that's their win condition. If you're OG on Nuke, you can feel free to disagree with me. I'm sure you've done a lot more research on OG generally than I have. I haven't really watched their demos in the past few months, but I don't think OG wins train from what we just saw against Kova.
I think one thing that OG have going for them here is that they're starting on the T side, and that's kind of deceptively good for them, just because in the last few months of them playing Nuke, they actually have a 53% or pretty much a 54% win rate on the T side, and only a 44% win rate on the CT side.
Yeah.
You know, with how CT sided Nuke is, that's probably why they don't have a good win rate on the map, though. In all honesty, but like you said, I feel like you do have to highlight the individuals of OG when looking at this one, because all things considered, if you have that bad of a CT side on a map that is probably, I'd say, the second most CT sided map in the pool.
What's the first?
Train, in my opinion.
Okay.
I think they are pretty close. I think they're pretty close. So, I don't know. I think OG just have the way that they're going to win this game, and probably the series, has to be off the back of a lot consistently individual plays coming in for them. The thing is that they have the firepower to absolutely do it.
Yeah, they have the players for it, definitely. But at the same time, you have to consider that this is a bad combination where if your strength on the T side, mate, Force's strength is very much on the CT side, where they can really take it to you. You can see Jerry knows when to get aggressive on the outside. Face crack and, actually, Jerry does go down to Alexi B, some in-game lead or an in-game leader action happening early on. NBK will have entered into Mini as he moves in, scouts out the player on Hut, Manta to take him down. Very well-drilled T-side pistol round coming through. NBK will actually go down while Valde returns fire onto Xe Power. Face crack seems to have been spotted out, but it could just be some sprays from the Glock coming in. But at the end of it all, he will be taken apart. Face crack to fall. Flit left alone with a kit and a smoke, probably just going to save those. And good start from OG.
Yeah, that was that had a few moving parts, a few more so than I would generally recommend for teams that are newer to maps on a pistol round, but OG made it look good. They actually seemingly took space everywhere simultaneously, and in doing so, were able to. Okay. I didn't think Alexi B was going to win that fight, but he actually does, and they are able to start themselves off nicely. And that's exactly what OG needed to do, because they have proven, like I mentioned, in the last few months, they are not the best on the CT side of this map. They pretty much rely on their T sides to carry them in order for them to have really any chance of winning it. And against a team like Forza, you want to put them in a hole early, and that just might be what they do, because Forza are actually force buying into this round. They have a few deagles, and it will be a very fast upper play. This is a great call from Alexi B here, as they will find two very clean entries on the map. One thing that was weird to me when I looked at the win rate for OG on this map is that Ents was a very good nuke team. They're the team that beat Astralis when they had, what was it, a 28-0 27-0 streak on the map, and it was off of some very good T-side calling. I remember some plays in particular. We'll see if we actually see those coming out today. Just kind of like a lot of misdirection. Thing is, Forza not as good as Astralis. You would never say that, but they have been playing this map for a very long time. It's one of their home picks, and it's one of the reasons that they've actually definitely secured themselves into the top 30. Having a map like Vertigo, Train, or Nuke just be a map that you're super comfortable with, along with the standard maps, is oftentimes a way that you can just kind of edge over your competition and take yourself to the next level. So let's see if Forza are able to read OG better than Astralis was back when LXCB was calling for Ents. Kind of a reach there, but in all honesty, that's oftentimes what it comes down to if you're playing against an Alexi B led team.
Maui, one thing to keep in mind though is also OG hasn't played a best of 3 since April. So they've probably put in a lot of work, and most of the statistics are going to be less than useful. Let's put it that way. So they maybe have something additional to bring to the table. I was actually curious about what maps OGs have played, and I just remembered the last time they played was when I casted them in the DreamHack qualifiers. That was literally the last best of 3 they played in the past 2 odd months, which was also against Forze, interestingly enough, which they lost 2-1. Was quite an entertaining series, actually, which hopefully shows us that we've got something on the cards for ourselves as well. OG, though, probably have a slightly easier time. Forza, we've mentioned it time and time again, they seem to be not quite their former selves. I'm sure online doesn't help them too much when you consider, I think CIS teams do get slightly worse ping as well.
Ooh, NBK. Nice P250 shots there. Kind of interesting that he has this gun right now, but I think he wants to just keep himself alive. That's a good economic decision for him and his team. Alexi B will be the one to take point as he... oh, wow. Jiri somehow killing Valde behind Alexi B. Thankfully, Alexi B is able to recover that AK. Issa, though, he wants the eco frags here as he pushes on in. He's looking for a lineup, and he will get it. Nice shots from him there. And Flit remains with just the deagle and the saved armor from the round prior. And OG with a very clean one. And I feel like already your point about how that they haven't played a BO3 for a while and have a lot of time to practice, that is a very, very strong point, actually. That is a really good observation, because that's all they can do now. It's all they can do is practice. Sometimes when you have like 15 maps in the past 3 months, like for every map in your pool, then your stats are very telling. But when you only have, 4, 7, 5, I mean, I don't remember exactly how many. I think OG had 7 new games in the past 3 months, which is a decent sample size, but it's been a month, I think, since they've even really played it. And this is a great read from Alexi B, taking down Facecrack right there. I guess he heard him drop off of that position, and it's a fast upper hit. Good trade for OG, and they are looking very polished here on Nuke, finding a great opening pick, along with scaling onto the bomb site beautifully. Good stuff from OG, and that's all off of the back of, I think, a Molotov landing on top of Hut early on in this round. Just good util, opens up their riflers to find opening picks. Like, that's where a lot of teams actually lack depth in most of their game, is how do you enable rifles to find opening picks? I think Liquid was probably one of the best in the world at it when they were having their hot streak for a while, but most of the time you're outlining procedures to get your op involved. You're trying to find ways that, how do we set our op up to take a good opening duel? It's not usually, how do we get Alexi B to find a kill off of a player who's forced off of the hut with a Molotov? Like that's when you actually build up and scale up your playbook and compartmentalize it to enable sometimes the unlikely stars.
And also because I know some idiot is just going to be saying, oh, but they played in Gamers Without Borders. They played in Gamers Without Borders.
I think the name speaks for itself a little bit. Yeah. It's been a while. It's been a while. Yeah. Like, that's... I don't know. The results of that is not something I take with a grain of salt.
Are you saying Tuscan is not a map that's viable in the competitive map pool?
It's a map that we haven't really seen too much of for
in a decade.
Yeah. So Exit Power though does find an opening pick. Forza have yet to find a single round in this game just yet, and it will be even harder after a 1-for-1 trade. Issa taking down Exit Power as well. That makes it even more difficult for them. OG individual performances kind of propelling them here. There are light setups for these players, but that is some great shooting coming out of Issa.
Facecrack, he's actually gotten very aggressive, only to be punished by Valde. I think that was probably an intentional little gap in the smoke left there, but Nicely done from Valde. 2v4. Valde's taken down, but Issa comes in from behind to add one more to the tally. Flitz making a lot of noise, and Mantu's happy to punish. 5-0. OG continue forward, and they will just lead the charge in. Forze, not very much you can do at this stage. Money's at that magical point where either you win a round and completely take control of the half, or you lose it and then OG ends up 8-0.
Yeah, half buy comes out from Forza here. They have full loss bonus, so they can invest a good amount into this one here. But it's not looking too pretty for them. Exapower actually went for a hero op buy. I think Almazar will be able to drop him in the upcoming round, so we will have an op moving forward, even if they lose this, but is instantly tagged down. And OG, man, in their default, they're coming out ahead very consistently thus far.
Jerry's already playing from the rebomb side, so if they want to go down ramp, that could be troubling. However, that will no longer be the case. Wait, not Jerry. It was a Flit. Sorry. It was Flit. I'm not sure. UIs make me confused sometimes. That is something. Mantu taking the duel over towards XC Power, trying to spray transfer into Mini. XC Power's dropped down. Will be taking the duel where he wins it. Valde to fall. XC Power immediately repositioning, trying to go back into the site. Face Crack's in a great position with a Mag 7. Off angle his hair. Gets that first one. Can he swing out for more? NBK right around the corner. Will be spotted, but not quite brought down. In the meanwhile, Alexi B and himself were able to get the 3 kills across them. They needed to secure an advantage. 20 seconds on the clock. Where is the bomb headed to? This is an excellent read coming out from XC Power. He knows where they're coming. It's not towards the B bomb side, but he's been spotted. His barrel was sticking out, and Alexi B will take him down. 6-0 OG. Really good start on this terror side.
Oh yeah, Forza will be forced to take a timeout here. They will still have an op in play for XC Power, and they need to find something more. It feels like the last gun round, they actually had the brief 5v4 advantage, but quickly lost it as Issa just dry scaled outside. And they need to do better. Forza, that is. They need to be able to secure that opening pick and then be able to keep the numbers advantage. They need to be able to turtle up a little bit. Or, you know, maybe they feel like they need to press the issue even further. Maybe they need to find a second pick off the top of it because they've realized that the 5v4 might just not be good enough. That's a weird kind of approach, and it's one that you should have a little bit more confidence in, any kind of 5v4 on the CT side of a map that you've been working on for I want to say almost a year now. They've been really hammering Nuke for a while, yeah. And you would think that this would just be a very clean game for them. But OG coming out with an approach that maybe they're just not used to. It feels like it's a lot more default centric for OG. OG not even really throwing the outside smokes early on like many teams do. They just kind of are taking fights from some of the opening entry positions. It's really catching Forza off guard. It's not something, usually you just kind of have procedures in place for when you see those outside smokes, when you see the deep wall, when you see the shallow wall, when you see that they're going for ramp control. But OG are just giving such different looks to what is popular in the common meta today.
Looks like they're setting up for a site hit. Now, Flit's not gotten aggressive yet. Alexi B's just checking that in case he does. 50 seconds on the clock. That's generally the time when utility starts being thrown. Molly goes out. What's it gonna be? Alexi B can't finish off Jerry. And in the meanwhile, Facecrack drops down, closing the door while he does so as well. Flit gets one, looking for more. Mantu will fall. And now in a 5v3, Flit re-aggresses forward, catches another man out. It's Issa to hit the deck. Alexi B and Valde still moving in. Jerry to turn it into a 4 versus 1 in Forza. This is what you were talking about, Maui. They were ready for the execute to come in. They're maybe not the best at dealing with OG relying on mid-rounding heavily, but when you see something you're used to, Forze come back and really manage to take it home. Flit with 3 kills that round.
Flit making ramp his home sweet home. Good stuff from him. 3K and just completely shuts down OG right there. There was a little bit of misdirection. The Lexi B special just kind of throwing an outside smoke and an A exec simultaneously.